last but by no means least, from the Faculty of Science and Engineering, we have Gabriela Castan presenting on the effectiveness of current restoration methods in restoring the floristic diversity of open forest koala habitat. Take it away, Gabriela.
Thank you, guys. So, yeah, a little bit of a background. I'm Brazilian. I've been working with ecological restoration since 2004 in Brazil. I arrived here in 2016, and then it took me like 2 or 3 years to relearn all the species, all the names again and everything. And then I start back on my field on 2019. So yeah, and in Brazil, I used to work with rainforest. So now I'm working with eucalyptus forest, which is a little bit different. So I had to learn a lot of things, and it's been amazing and loving it. So yeah, ecological restoration, everybody like that is not from the field. Sometimes they go to like plantation days and they just think that it's like, oh, you get the species that occur in that ecosystem, and then you plant randomly. No, there is like a whole process, a lot of things that you need to analyze to because of the ecological succession in relation to luminosity, like growth, form, and everything. So it's not like so simple. So a little bit of why I'm doing this study is special in eucalyptus restoration. They use mostly canopy trees because, of course, the trees are more important to the koalas. But most of the time, they say that like with natural regeneration, all the strata comes with time, and it's true. But yeah, there are studies with like a lot of mostly canopy trees that like all this regeneration, natural regeneration. Sorry. It comes with time. So what I'm studying is if this ground cover species, they come like all the species supposed to be there in that environment, if they come with time at all or not. So I'm comparing restoration areas with remnant areas. So I got, so yeah, the other question is the full floristic diversity. So if they are getting all the strata, the canopy, the undercover, the ground covers, and also like most of the plans, they go more deep into weed management control because of the threats to biodiversity is very important, but it's not just that. So there are a lot more to consider when you think about restoration. So this is like just an image about the dynamics of the forest. In this case, the disturbance is fire with eucalyptus. If you think about a rainforest, for example, it can be a lightning that some trees fall and then this process starts. So you have the forest there and then the disturbance, and then you have all this, the ground cover, there's different species coming, varying according to different luminosity and shades of the other trees. And then in the end, you get the restoration done. So it's a very complex and unpredictable, often unseen interactions between all the components inside the ecosystem. So another thing that is very important is the soil seed bank. So all that species that are there, they have the seeds that are dispersed in different ways. I'm gonna talk a little bit more later. And you have this, the soil has a lot of seeds that are stored there in different timings, like different species reacting in a different way about storage. So it's another thing that I wanted to study, but I'm gonna talk a little bit more ahead. So the scope is the flora assessment. So like I said, remnant and restoration areas, comparing. We did the transect just counting the ground cover. So we didn't count the canopy trees. The soil seed bank analysis, and also reviewing the plans to see if they are considering all these aspects when they write the plans. And also I got sites, mostly parks in New South Wales and in Queensland. And there are a lot of differences, like not just like a lot of in relation to guidelines and like the councils, all the, like they don't talk to each other mostly, but so it was very hard to like kind of put both of them together because they have different views of stuff. So, but I'm trying to put like everything to be similar to be able to compare equally. So yeah, the research questions, if the floristic are different, the remnants, then restoration. I'm gonna talk about the dispersion mechanisms as well, from these species. The degree, the similarity between the soil seed bank and the vegetation, weed management with the soil seed bank as well. In this chapter 2, I'm gonna analyze the plans, if there is any gap, what can be updated, and what other additional restoration treatment could be we could use. I used to use different techniques in Brazil, but like I said, in rainforest, which sometimes doesn't work in eucalyptus forest. So, so this is the first chapter. So like I said, the difference about the ecological restoration, so the causes, the stressors, like the vegetation, the remnants around, if they are close, what the distance is gonna influence on this site should be restored. What is your desired result? Sometimes you want like a fast restoration, so that's why you're gonna plant a lot of canopies so you can see, you know, local climate, the soil type, and the species that compose that ecosystem. So yeah, so usually on restoration projects, they use a lot of species that are easily grown, and yeah, they are available in the nurseries. So that's another thing that, like, because a lot of species they don't know, it's very hard to grow. So sometimes you see the same species again and again because of that. So yeah, then the two governments are creating these strategies to recover and to connect the different forests. Yeah, so there is a clear need to restore these habitats and understand to be able to restore properly. So, so a very important part of the project is usually it's best to find a reference site so you can see the structure of the species and the spacings, for example, between the species and all the strata. So you can replicate this in your restoration sites. But yeah, usually you don't see much this in plans because there's not much time to do this. So, so like I said, the soil seed bank ecological memory, because it's from the trees that were there before, or seed banks. Yeah, so some studies found that most of the seed banks are dominated by exotics and traits related to disturbance specialists. So yeah, they found a lot of weed in the soil seed banks in eucalyptus communities, and also it's very, the soil seed bank is very poor compared to like rainforest, and the dispersal as well. They are not dispersed, mostly not dispersed by birds like the rainforest. So it's very limited. So yeah, dispersal, just the different types, right? Gravity by animals, attachment to the fur, water, exploding, wind, and cultivation. So all the different seed dispersions that I'm going to get all the species and do this comparison. And also some different types of storage of seeds. They can be transient or permanent. Some are stored in the fruit. Some are, there is the resprouting species as well. Oops. This is the chapter 2. So it's the analysis of the plants. So yeah, the
5 minutes. Yeah, thanks.
And then yeah, they mostly use techniques are natural regeneration, like I said before, seedling, planting, and direct seeding as well. So these are some different types of guidelines that I'm reading and checking all the different aspects if they have or not. So this is yeah, what's a basic thing that a plan needs to have in relation to monitoring, timeline, and it needs to be measurable, specific, and realistic. So these are like essential things that a plan needs to have. Yeah, so studies in biome. Also, they are also analyzing in relation to spacing between the species. So when you have like a open forest, you have this like open forest, of course. And if you do like a restoration and you put like very close spacings, it creates like a shade that, for example, a bird carries this seed from a rainforest species, and because it's shade, now it can germinate, and then these species from the rainforest can dominate this other ecosystem. Yeah, so I'm also analyzing regarding the spacings between in the plants. So yeah, this is another suggestion. What is current now? It's very close spacings, use of rainforest species at planting, and now this is one of my supervisors. He is proposing like wide spacings. Don't plant the rainforest species, and flammable ground cover as well. Yeah, this is a very good guideline that I found in a New South Wales site. So it gets like all the strata and have the spacings, which is very rare, difficult to find. All the studies that I saw now, the plants, they don't have this. Yeah, so hypothesis, limited plant of canopies. If the understory is not as diverse as the remnant site. Oh, sorry, I think I need to go through this. Yeah, so I think I said before, all in the scope, what I'm gonna do, and like some of the questions, the methods, I got 16 sites. So I did the floristic with transect, below ground with soil samples, desktop analysis to see regarding dispersion and the data analysis. These are all the parks that I went. So I got maybe, yeah, I got like restoration and remnant sites inside all these parks. This is just to have a look the distance of the parks in Gold Coast. This is one park where I got the soil samples, and these I used to do the transects inside the parks. So yeah, this is a photo of the transect there. So here is another park with the sites for the soil collection. This is how I collected the samples. These are where I put the samples in like full sun so they could germinate. The other place. This is just a detail of the germination. And then the preliminary results, we already see that like the remnant sites has much more species ground cover than the restoration, and especially dry forest species. So you can see that, yeah, it's like we can see that that is a difference. And also in relation to the traits, you can see that the remnant sites has a lot of more like diversity, like of dispersion by wind, vertebrate, like all these ones that I talked before. And yeah, so this is the soil seed bank, some of the species that are popping up, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, thank you, Gabriela. Yeah. That looks like a very intimidating project. There must be a lot of hard work involved in it, but I'm sure when the results come through, it's going to be all worth it. I've just got one question to, so my privilege to go first, I suppose. So you said you've got 16 sites sorted out already. And I saw the importance of like fire in some of your diagrams and stuff. So were those sites, well, the restoration sites, were they fire affected or something, or is there some other need to restore them?
Yeah, I didn't get any sites that, like, I didn't count like, like the fire management in the sites. So yeah, like was not something that I'm measuring.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Are there any other questions from the audience? Yeah, you're all bloody social scientists, aren't you? You can't handle a real scientist here in the room.
So when you're trying to restore the habitat for koalas, is the idea that then all the kind of native species will go back to that? And I guess when you're doing the restoration, is there a risk of killing anything else that's living in the area already? Sorry, that might be a stupid question. I'm a social scientist. Yeah, so if you're restoring, is the idea that all the different native species will come back, or you're not worrying about those and you just care about the koalas? Like, will you be measuring the other things? Do you think that the other ones will come back?
Yeah, that's what I'm measuring, because like most of the, yeah, that's what I'm measuring, because most of the plantings, they just put the canopy trees, and then like the ground cover species, maybe because of that, like that slide that I showed, like the mostly ready available species, they use kind of the same species again and again, and they use the canopy. So that's why I'm measuring, like if the ground cover really comes with time, with these different dispersion system, systems, and like I don't know if I answered their question. I don't know.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
All right, not a time. One last question. Got any more?
I was just going to say, really, really good project. I think it's close to our hearts when you're talking about koalas. Comes from Lismore, some remnants left, but a lot has been involved. Yeah, I don't know if you're in this area.
No,
so you're more
closer to the coast.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly koalas around Lismore, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah. So we see them around town. They're at the high school, stuff like that.
Yeah. We've got
the Koala Hospital at Lismore campus. Yeah. Anyway, well done.
Look, thanks very much.